We run this household on a microgrid solar power system. We have a 20 kilowatt array and 95 kilowatt hours of battery with two Sol-Ark 15K inverters. And these two 3-ton air conditioning condenser units, when they turn on, they really pull hard, and you can dims the lights, and you can just feel it's just straining the inverter and batteries. So in order to not have that do any damage, long-term damage to my system, or wear it out faster than it needs to be, I'm putting 2 of these micro air EasyStart systems on, one on each condenser unit. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that today, and then we're going to look at before and after as this puppy starts up and see if we can see a difference. All right, I've got my blanket for my knees. I just use these packing blankets, and my instructions here, they're very clear, very easy. It's just 2-page little flyer here. I'll go over all this with you. The very first thing we want to do is cut power to this unit. So we have our disconnect right here next to the unit. The air is turned off inside. So this is the connector. So it's completely dead now because there's no way for this side to touch that side. All right, well, I've removed the panel with a 5/16 inch nut driver on my drill, and we have the schematic here and the schematic on our instructions. We're just gonna match up the wires. This is not rocket science, but I'm not an electrician, but we should be able to figure this out. Unfortunately, there is not enough room for this to fit in here. See, it just, actually it does fit under there, but I think the housing might hit this edge right here. Yeah, this being inside, tucked under, is going to eat up that tiny little bit of extra room that I have. So fortunately, this is a water sealed unit. They say don't take the cover off or you'll mess up the water seal. So we'll just mount this over here. This is my harness here, and I got it through the hole. Now I just got to get it through this rubber grommet here. So we have our map of our actual machine here, and then we have our instructions which show the routing. You've got this Herm wire here, which is blue in my case, but it's got an additional terminal here, so I connected the orange wire to that. I'm going to strip this wire halfway, and then we've got these little wires. These little orange things fold up. See how I folded that up? And then you slide the wire in that open slot, clamp it down, and it connects whatever wire you put in there to this white wire. It's a little coupler, pretty ingenious. There's 2 of those. So when I cut this yellow wire, I'm going to hook one end into one and the other end into this one. Okay? And that makes the complete circuit. We've got the orange wire going to the Herm side of things. We connected to that black, and then we split the yellow between the factory, these factory connectors here and here. I'm just going to bring this out and connect it to the wall here. I went back and found this construction photo so that I could see where the concrete stem wall ended and the plywood started. So make sure that I go through the stucco and the screw gets into the plywood. There we go. Tapco masonry bits. Are called concrete anchors, but they work really well in any kind of masonry, and stucco is masonry. That's the head on it. And remember, folks, it's masonry, not masonry. That's the difference between a professional job and a crappy homeowner job. Just gonna make sure that puppy is beautifully level. As I tighten them, you can see that silicone squishing out there. Perfectly level. Across there, down the side here. All right, here's the final. Here's the disconnect where I pulled that piece out that makes this wire completely dead with no electricity. That's been restored now. We've got our condenser here with our little tight working space back here. You see, here's the plate that came off. It's got the 4 screws, one on each corner around there. The wire for the soft start underneath through that existing rubber grommet. and it runs up to our soft start, which is now happily and permanently mounted with masonry screws and a little bit of silicone. Okay, let's go ahead and fire it up. It's the next morning and I'm going to do this unit now. The reason why I didn't do this yesterday is, one, I was ready for dinner, and two, I wanted to make sure we cycled the other one several times overnight and make sure there were no problems and that it was cooling properly, turning on and off properly. And it must have cycled, I don't know, 30, 40 times overnight, and it's perfect. And that one is right near where we sleep, and we did not hear it at all. Normally we hear that loud sound when the compressor turns on. We did not hear that at all last night. It was much quieter. Okay, go ahead, turn it on. Wow. It's incredible. It's so perfect. We have some green lights on in there. You can see it. LED. It just started just beautifully. Now we're going to do this one before it gets too hot today and we need to turn the air on upstairs. Now that I know what I'm doing, this should go much quicker. So I'll do an abbreviated version just as a recap to what we just saw. And this should go much quicker. I also have a little bit more room over here to move around. Of course, they still put it in the same position. So all the connections are on the back here, but that's okay because this is still more than I had yesterday. Out. We need to make sure that this capacitor is de-energized. And this little circle here is the compressor as it is shown here. Okay, you got your S, C, and R, and then down here it shows another diagram, and then the typical home install. Hopefully this will be the most meaningful part of the video. This yellow wire, there's two of them. One goes to the fan, and you can look down in here and confirm. You can wiggle the wire and tell which is which. You can physically see that this wire is going to the compressor. This one is going up to the fan. So I cut this wire 6 inches from the terminal, and it goes into this white wire, okay, coupler. And then the same wire that goes into the housing connected to this, the brown wire. All you're doing is, instead of having these two yellow wires continuously here, you're adding the soft start in between. It's coming from the terminal through the machine and then into the compressor so that it doesn't have that jolt. Now it's softening it. Nice and stable. Well, thanks for being with me for this job well done. And yeah, let's do a final wrap up.
Are you almost done?
Yeah, I'm done. It's all installed.
Oh, nice. Okay, turn it on.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi. All right, here we're all buttoned up again. Cords coming out through the rubber grommet right here. Comes up to the unit. Peeking in there, you can see there is a green light on, giving us the all clear. Final wrap up. It's been 2 days since I did the install video, and these have been running perfectly. So beautiful soft starts. I'm not seeing the lights flicker, pull down every time they turn on anymore. My units are 3-ton condenser units, and these exact same unit that I installed, this EasyStart Flex Home AC soft starter, will work up to 6-ton air conditioning units. So it's really nice that they have this one size fits all. And it also comes with a mobile app. I didn't mention that earlier. So you can connect your Bluetooth to it to do diagnostics. The total price listed on their website today is $389 per unit. And I paid a little bit less because I bought 2 units. So I got $39 off basically. So $379.10. I also want to mention that my HVAC guy quoted me $2,700 to come install his units. I don't even know what brand. I asked him what brand and he never got back to me. So I don't even know if I would like them as much as this brand or if it would be as good a quality as these EasyStarts. Now on their website, they do show this diagram that gives you an idea of how much less it's drawing at startup, which I think is pretty cool. Go check them out at microair.net. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. I've never had a conversation with them. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a customer. I pay cash for these. So I don't do those kinds of deals yet. Anyway, I've never even considered it. I'm here to share knowledge with you as I do my daily stuff, just because I like to make videos, not because I'm trying to make money doing this. I think if you enjoyed this, you would really like the build process on our solar array system, and I'll leave that video right here.